Okay. We're going to see if we can get Stephen in here. A little different approach to everything here today, folks. Seeing if I can get Stephen on camera. Here he comes. Okay, I can see you, Stephen.
You hear me?
I can hear you.
Good. Right, we're good then.
I thought we'd start out a little different today. You know, the background and everything going on, us two hanging out in our little windows. We replaced the fake us or the stagnant us with the live us. What do you think of that?
We can wave and do things. Yep.
Absolutely. But we're going to go to the real show here. So let's change formats real quick so that we can bring ourselves onto the screen that we belong on.
Hang on a minute. That's
yeah, got to adjust your camera.
Need to adjust in a little bit. It's strange how the different platforms.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
that's why I tried to stick with one or two. I don't have to adjust my camera so much. For sure.
How are we doing at that? That's better, isn't it?
Very good. Very good.
Right, okay. All good.
Oh, a little bit to your left, maybe. I don't know. You're fine. You're fine.
How's that now?
Stephen, it's another day. It's Tuesday. It's 12 noon Eastern over here in Michigan on my side of the pond. And what, 5 p.m. over there in GMT over on your side of the pond?
It is 5 p.m. GMT, and it's been raining for the last 2 days. And oh yeah, we've got floods across Somerset, and we are just hoping that I'm just going to shrink myself a little bit better. We're hoping that the rain stops at some point. Otherwise, we might have to build, I don't know, we'll have to get a boat to get about.
Do you get a lot of rain? I mean, is it pretty consistent over there?
It is. I mean, this time of year is perhaps the worst for it, this and spring. It's one of those things. I mean, you get a pattern of weather coming across and that's it. You can't do anything about it.
We've actually seen snow already, Stephen.
Wow.
Yes, we have.
It's been that cold.
Yeah, it got down to it was in the 20s last night over here. It's normally this time of year it does get into the freezing temperatures, and it's just been one of those seasons. So we're about 3 minutes before the hour, so
okay.
We'll get into some of the things I was going to cover, Stephen, real quick, and that was the natural event that took place over in Japan yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Along with some of the comments that were brought up in your BeLive TV stream earlier today with regards to streaming bandwidths and what we really need to look forward to. And then just a couple of little things that popped up in my newsfeed today on Facebook that I'll throw out there as we move along. So it should be a good show. All right, I think we're all ready to go. Did anybody confirm? Do we have anybody in the room? Let's see what we've got. We have 2 people. I think that's me and you right now.
I think that's fair to say. That's me and you.
I'm going to head over to the group because I want to paste this into the group. I have a link to the channel, though, actually. I would prefer people to come to the channel from the group, but I'm going to head over and check Facebook live feed, make sure. Yep, looks like we're doing fine. So April Roga is over on Facebook watching us right now. So thanks for coming, April. We do appreciate you and your support. That's the way we roll. So, Stephen, we're up to episode 18 today, I believe it is.
We might be.
Well, I was looking at the feeds the other day. Thank you, April. Look at that. She's already up there. And we'd mentioned last week it was 16, and it was actually 17 because I'd given you 15 and 16. Yeah. So I think we're one behind the times right now. We just need to catch up with ourselves.
We do. We'll straighten that out. I didn't actually put episode 12 in. So.
Oh, that's right, because that one failed us. That one was with Lottie, I believe, was the one that crashed on Lottie and I. So we never got a recording for that. That's the way it goes.
This is true. This is live broadcasting.
Yeah. Let's get this show on the road, shall we?
Okay.
Once again, this is Leland Best over in the USA, and this is Across the Pond with Leland and Stephen. And Stephen Healy is over there in the UK. Tell us where you're coming from, Stephen.
Good afternoon. I'm in Wiltshire in England, and it's raining, but we won't talk about that. We want to be optimistic today. The rain will stop at some point. And if you want to know where I am, if you know where Stonehenge is or Salisbury, it's about 120 miles outside London, and a glorious part of the country. Wonderful Wiltshire, we call it.
Well, I see April has already made a comment, and I think we'll go ahead. Let's do this. Let's get the bad news out of the way, and then we can move on to the bigger stuff, because she touched on an event that took place yesterday. She is in Tennessee there herself, and near Chattanooga, there was a very, very disastrous event that took place yesterday, something that no one would ever want to have happen to anyone, and that was a severe school bus crash, which landed within the crook of a tree somewhere, and there were probably 20 plus children injured. And I know right now the death toll on that accident is probably over a half a dozen. It may be higher than that now. And these were 2nd to 5th grade children, kindergarten to 5th grade children. So it's our hearts go out certainly to those who are suffering right now and in pain and misery. And the grieving process is obviously going to have to take place, but something you wouldn't want to happen to your worst enemy, and that is to lose a child at that age in an accident like that. So our hearts go out to the folks in Tennessee today.
Yeah, my sentiments are similar to yours, Leland, and we never know why these things happen, and we can't question it, but it's sad.
And they really don't know what it is that took place, because obviously it's a bunch of children with one adult driver. So unless there's actual footage of what happened with the accident, no one will probably ever know the true story. And I know from a fact of tragic loss that, when you have something like that happen that has no true explanation, or you can't wrap your head or hands around what actually took place, it's a much harder process to get through. Because you have to wrestle in your mind with all the scenarios, the what ifs, or the how to, what happened kind of things that go through your mind that you tend to grab onto just to try and explain it. And it's not a very easy task to deal with. So, all right. And to move.
Yep. To move
ahead to the other tragedy, Stephen, there was something that took place, and it wasn't really, thankfully, it wasn't as tragic as we all thought it might turn out. It could have been a lot worse, but there was a 7.4 earthquake out in the Pacific Ocean near Japan, specifically the one that was most hit by this particular quake, and the slight tsunami that followed was Fukushima. And there's a nuclear plant over in that vicinity of the woods. So it's a very dire situation.
A decommissioned nuclear plant.
Yeah, but it still could have been a mess. Can you imagine if a 10-foot wave crashed into that thing again right now? I have to ask you though, Stephen, did you see some of the footage of what took place during the earthquake? I have something I want to show you. This is pretty amazing. I'm just gonna leave the volume off because it's not really necessary, but I'm gonna put us over in the corner for a second as the layout changes. And this is something that I saw just this morning. I couldn't believe it. Let me head over here, and I'm just going to show 3 little cell phone shots. I'm going to jump ahead as I go so you guys can see this. Tell me what you would do if you were in a situation where you actually saw this take place while you were on the streets. Now watch closely at the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Do you see the sidewalk moving like a wave?
It's undulating. Yeah, it is.
Okay. I don't think I'd be standing there with a camera in my hand waiting to see what happens next, because honestly, that's so scary of a thought. And you can't see it so well here, so I'm going to move ahead slightly in the video where you can see here that the pipes underneath the sidewalk actually burst or cracked open. But watch this. These guys are standing next to the sidewalk, and you'll watch this sidewalk breathe, literally.
Yeah.
Expand up and down while they're standing there. I don't think I'd be within 5 miles of that crack in the earth.
I would certainly run in the other direction, yeah.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that, Stephen. Honestly.
That's something I don't need to photograph that. I just need to get away from it.
That's how I look at it. So I just wanted everybody to see that footage that was available out there on YouTube today. I thought it was kind of interesting.
The thing about the Japanese earthquakes, whilst obviously are a bad thing, they are prepared for them, and their houses are built to withstand them. I mean, I saw a documentary, I think it was last year, and their houses are built on hydraulic piles, which so even a tower block just judders. It doesn't fall over.
Wow.
So
I know you've got a few stories for us today. What's your first agenda on the list?
My first story actually is across the pond, because your president-elect has said that the ambassador he would like from Britain, the British ambassador to the US, should be, wait for it, Nigel Farage.
I gotta move my window over just a little bit, Stephen. My window's a little off size.
I'm going to say Nigel Farage is the current temporary leader of UKIP. He was the leader of UKIP throughout Brexit. He's right wing. He wants all. Well, I'm not going to say he's got a problem with the immigration into this country, and he was part of the team that led Brexit and persuaded us to leave the EU. Now he's not retired. He's still a European MP. He's still drawing his salary, and he's basically then started to. We were told he was advising Donald Trump, and he appeared on a couple of the election rallies talking on behalf of Mr. Trump. And now we get the situation where Donald Trump has said he should be the British ambassador to the US, presumably because the two get on so well.
Oh, I'm sure.
In the UK, this has ruffled quite a lot of feathers. First of all, the government, who appoint the British ambassador, had no knowledge of this before it was said. And I mean, although there have been tweets by Donald and by Nigel Farage on Twitter about this being a brilliant idea, and this would really get things off to a good start. Fortunately, I'm going to express my value. Fortunately for both the US and the UK, it's a non-starter. Donald Trump would like him to be the British ambassador, because obviously he's the link between the two countries, and that's very important. But our ambassador has a term of office for 4 years, and we appointed an ambassador in January 2016. So there's no position open for him to go into. A change of government does not mean a change of ambassador. So,
no, it doesn't. And it's obviously a little bit of an overstep on Donald's part, because he should know better. He should, as one being now the president-elect, he should know his limitations and know that that's not really good ethical politics to be mentioning who should be positioned in someone else's country in the first place. I mean, it's not our place to tell you who you should have as an ambassador. So
that's the key to it, because we wouldn't do the reverse. Well, we try not to. So, you and I we could say what we think should happen in each other's countries.
Oh, sure.
But when you are essentially a leader of a country, then though you'd like to, you can't tell other countries what to do. And you can't tell the British population what to do. And the last time that Donald was over here, let's just say it didn't go well. Right. Yeah, I'm sure. Next story, I think.
Well, I think that leads to a couple of things, because I also saw, this kind of ties into immigration. Okay, obviously, because both of these gentlemen are very astute when it comes to securing borders and mentioning issues with immigration. I've seen a lot of talk recently about immigration, which, and honestly, there is. I watched this gumball video. I don't know if you saw it or not. It was posted by a professor of one of the bigger universities here in the States, I believe. Yeah. And he tried to represent that even if us as the U.S. were able to take in 1 million immigrants a year, okay, which they want to try, some liberals in this country want to up that to like 2 million a year, okay, and to do so wouldn't significantly touch on any of the true issues that are taking place in the countries that really are struggling. And what ends up happening is you disparage those countries by bringing the best of their best into our countries. Yep, okay. What that does is it leaves behind all these suffering people who can't immigrate, who can't move out of the country, who can't move into positions of university, accolades and all those types of situations where most people that immigrate to the US or to the UK are looking for better jobs or for higher education. That we simply can't touch the problem, and that a lot of times it's almost best for these people to remain in the countries that they are born in and are raised in, and help use their talents and their specialities and their expertise to better their own countries? So it's a very hard question to answer and deal with, because who are we to say that this immigration is really helping anyone? And then, like April just mentioned, was this bus driver someone who was out to ruin people in the U.S., or was he just some whack job? You know, Donald wants to secure this country from criminal elements in immigration. And that's really all he focused on. Yet a lot of people took that as, no, you can't just tell people they can't come to the U.S., when in reality, sometimes we have to be careful who we allow into our country, because there are people who want to destroy this country, and yours alike.
Yeah, truly.
Where do you go with that? It's kind of tough. All right, let's see what else we got. I'm going to switch cameras here for a second. Big week over here in the U.S. It's obviously Thanksgiving here in the U.S. So I'm going to shrink down just a second again. So what's everybody thankful for? Let's ask that question, I suppose. And on the list behind me is health, home, family, friends, or food. Thursday marks the day of Thanksgiving 2016 here in the U.S., which is a time for families and friends and those that, you know, just like to get together or sit down with turkey and cranberries and all that stuff. Now, do you guys have some form of Thanksgiving yourselves over there in the UK of any kind?
No, there's no Thanksgiving here.
Do you have a day that's close to that? Like, I know Canada has a Thanksgiving Day that's other than our day, obviously. It just took place back in October. But do you have like a day to be thankful for what you have, or nothing even close to?
To answer the question truthfully, almost every day, but we don't have we don't have a special day as such. The tradition isn't one that happens in the UK. I'm willing to be contradicted on that, but I don't know of one.
No, and that's interesting, because not a lot of people understand that the story that a lot of people are told in school here in the U.S. about the Pilgrims and the Indians, and you know how what a wonderful union it was that came together. It's kind of not the true story of Thanksgiving. I hate to say it that way, but I'm going to allow people to do their own investigative work when it comes to where the tradition comes from and how it was derived. And, you know, those weren't good times for the Indians back then in this country, Stephen, I have to admit. So my wife, being half Cherokee herself, understands the suffering that the Indians went through in this country when the pilgrimage took place. And there was a loss of a lot of life in that regard. So it's just one of those things. It's a tough call when it comes to that.
It is, indeed. Right. It is.
So happy Thanksgiving.
Right. Well, happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and have an enjoyable day with family. And as we say here at Christmas in the UK, don't eat too much turkey.
Right. I agree. What else you got?
Right. Okay. My second story today. I'm just going to check as we do prepare for this. Right. Okay. And it's something which leads into another topic. In the UK, we have broadband speeds which are variable, and the national average is 28 megabytes down.
Wow.
And
that's not bad.
That's an average. That's not bad. I mean, I'm actually on the average. That's what I have. And John Upton, who we both know, has more than 200 megs, and he's up in the Solihull. So there's a wide disparity. And the government has said today that they are pledging funds to not only go with 5G, which is the next one after 4G, but also to try and bring the country up to have 1 gigabyte broadband throughout the country. Now, as we know about Fraser, there are parts of this country which will never be reached by cable. So we just got to hope that this actually takes place, because everything that we're doing now, everything we're doing in relation to video, bandwidth is important, isn't it? That was a question.
It certainly is, and we've discovered that to be the case many times over. I've been finding myself recently, anyway, I'm starting to see higher upload speeds without even asking for it here through Charter, which has allowed me to get up into that 5 to 6 megabit upload speed versus the download speed of 60 that I get here. And honestly, that helps when it comes to watching the videos, obviously. But as far as broadcasting and streaming, like we tend to do here on Smile Time, and as Stephen did earlier and does all the time regularly on BeLive, we saw today, whether we weren't sure or not, obviously, there was a lot of video glitching going on while you were switching through, and we'll talk about BeLive TV. I'll let you cover that topic in just a minute, Stephen.
Okay.
We saw some issues with freezing video, and we can't say for sure whether that was a bandwidth issue or if it was recent upgrades to the software that they have going on. But there was a great article, if anybody wants to go check it out, Daycast or Dacast, however you want to pronounce this. I'm not certain how they pronounce this. Let me just, I don't even need to shrink this down. There's an article over there called What are the Bandwidth Requirements for Streaming Live Video? And I shared this with your folks who were watching your show earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come down here, obviously, you know, the download speeds are always faster than the upload speeds.
Yep.
One good way to check that is to head yourself over to speedtest.net. And I can show you really quick how this works out. There's basically a button once you get to speedtest.net where you'll begin your test. And maybe I should fire it up, but the button will show green and it'll say begin your test.
Yeah.
It'll do a quick ping to your main server, which is where your hosted IP is sending you signal, and they're receiving your signal from your home unit. So you can see here I have a download speed currently of about 66 megabits, okay?
Yep.
Which is, again, that's megabits, not megabytes. So that's about a tenth of what you're going to see from what a lot of people think about when they think of a megabyte worth of file data. This is in much lower process seconds than that. So you have bits per second. And you can see here I'm hitting about 4.5 toward 5 maybe in my upload speed. Okay.
Yep.
Now that's fair. I hit 5.1 as my max upload speed there at the end. Yep. So this gives you an idea what your ranges are. And then if we head back over here and we go down toward the end of the article, what you'll discover is that they tend to recommend double what you require to stream. Okay, like if you're sending out a standard video signal that might take about 500 kilobytes, you want to have at least a megabit or double that in order to broadcast. Okay.
Gotcha.
What I found interesting in this article down at the bottom as the final verdict, they stated clearly here that a 500 kilobyte per second is the lowest speed required for streaming. Okay. That will at least get you out there, but that's pretty much 360p quality video, which is what you would have found back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s for television, okay? And then SD came around, which was 480p, okay? And if you want for quality viewing, that's what they're basically down to about standard definition video of 3 megabits per second. Yeah. So I'm just barely capping that with, you know, that's twice the speed again. That's, you require that 1.5 to stream, but you want to have twice that because you have your cell phones in your hand. You have other syncing processes taking place on your computer like Google Drive or OneDrive or your email coming into your email box or anything like that. And then if you want to do high def, which today I wanted to try it out. I'm actually broadcasting in 720p today. Okay. Right. Normally, Stephen, when I come on here with you on Smile Time, I'm doing 480p. Yep. But it gets broadcast to Facebook supposedly at 720 from Smile Time. Right. But what we've been finding on Facebook when we download the videos, we only get 640 by 360 as our archive.
We do?
Why? Yeah, why I don't know. It's just it's not high def, so I don't know why Facebook's calling it high def. But in order to do high def, you would need 5 to 8 megabits, which I don't really meet that requirement. Okay,
no, I don't.
But that's double the speed, so I would need at least 2.5 to 4 maybe to do a good quality stream without anything else running in the background. Okay, and having the overhead that you would want to have just to make sure, because the speeds fluctuate. I could do that speed test again, and it's not going to give me the exact same results it gave me the first time I ran it, because those signals fluctuate all the time during the day. So because of bandwidth usage by other people on your block or whatever. So, and if we get into 4K, boy, oh boy, oh boy, that's where the 25 megabits and gigabit service is going to be most important, because well, it's going to take us an hour just to upload a 4K video to YouTube. So, you know, we're going to need the speed in order to process video of that kind. And then they're talking about 8K. I honestly probably will never even go to 4K because I don't feel the necessity for it. It's just too high of quality bandwidth, just crazy, you know, limited for what we want to try to do with it yet. And until gigabit is the norm, I think 4K is going to be trailing way behind 720 and 1080. So that's all I got.
Just a quick question on that. A brilliant article, which I'll read later. But if you were, supposing you were struggling, if you switched and you had a C920 and you switched down to 360, would that make it? Could you do that if you had a low bandwidth and you went down to 360 from say 720? You'd do a lot better. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do here quite often with vMix. I use the software to control the resolution exiting my computer. Okay. So when I do something where I know there's going to be a lot of heavy traffic or streaming, or like especially when I'm with you and we're sharing screens, I would normally be at 480. I wanted to see with my recent up cap on my upload speeds, or I've seen it go up about a megabit. I wanted to see how well I could broadcast in 720 and still have it function properly without having a trail to my video, voice, audio tracks, things like that. And that's another thing that doesn't get talked about very often, is people using encoding software like vMix or Wirecast or ManyCam or OBS or anything of that sort. If you're having issues with your voice syncing with your audio, there are delay settings that you can look into on your audio track, because obviously the audio is going to travel faster than the video across an internet signal. So you can slow down your audio track slightly so that when it broadcasts, it matches up with your video. And that's one thing that people don't really think about, but if they need to, they should look into it. If they're having serious sync issues with their audio and video, go take a look and see if you can slow down by just a few milliseconds. It might be 1.5, tenths of a second. Yep. That would adjust enough on your bandwidth send to be able to reduce that glitching of the sync issue. So something to look into.
There's a question from Alfredo, who's watching here on SmileTime.
Yes, ManyCam is an encoder. It is a third-party streaming encoder. It's a live streaming encoder software. So basically the same thing. And same with OBS, FF-Split, XSplit, Wirecast, ManyCam, live stream. There's several of them. And actually, like when we go to Huzza, or if we go to BeLive TV, they use encoders on the back end that we don't see that are processing signals after we go live. Yep. Right, like you did today, Stephen, on BeLive TV. In order to get it to Facebook Live, they're using their own internal encoding system, whatever it may be, to send the signal to Facebook. Yep. So, and that's one other issue, Stephen, that when we use third-party softwares or platforms in particular, rather than streaming through an encoder, with an encoder, we have a direct link to the location, like Facebook or YouTube or wherever we're broadcasting to. When we come out here on SmileTime and then go to Facebook, we have a third party in the center there that we have to contend with. So it's a duplicated signal. It's a jump from one to another that we have to rely upon them to send that signal out. So that's why we get the delays, even though here Facebook ends up being the first picture seen rather than SmileTime, which is backwards for most of the other ones.
It's disconcerting, isn't it, when that happens? Because usually quite rightly you think it'd be the other way around. Yeah, I mean, we did the BeLive broadcast today because BeLive announced updates last night, and Jeff did a show with Ross Brand, and enjoyed watching that on replay because I was at a town hall meeting last night.
And what did they announce, Stephen? Tell us.
Okay, they announced the following, and we tested it all out, and it works. The first thing is that it's now got a show feel about it. You've got up to, the host can select from 5 screen layouts and flip between them at any time. Basically, you've got a view of the host, you've got a view of the guest. You can do 2 up, as we're doing at the moment, and you can do picture-in-picture on the screen, so you can have either the guest highlighted or the host highlighted. And that's the first thing. So they've now got 5 different layouts on the face-to-face option. In addition to that, you can now go live as a guest from iPhone. Okay.
Oh, nice. So
as a guest, you can go live and straight in and have the facilities. There's also now a back chat between the host and the guest, which stays within the page. So as well as having the general chat down the side, the host and guest, if there are any problems, don't have to go out to Facebook Messenger, so you don't need that anymore. So that's one program less, and you keep in connection with each other, and nobody knows that you're doing it. Okay. Now, what I've discovered is because you can actually go from two of you on screen to one of you on screen, it allows who's the person who's not on screen to have a breather. Okay. Now you and I are on screen for the entire hour. With Be Live, you get a chance to take a breather while you actually one person talks and what have you. Now, to complete the set and to sort of, this is getting into OBS and vMix territory, you can now put up a lower third from within BeLive.tv, and the text on the lower third is editable by the host. Okay, and I think to round that off, that's it. So all the features are there, all the features that they've released work, and if you go to my Facebook profile page, you'll find today's broadcast where Claire, David, and I were able to go through it. I think it's a good step forward, because I think you helped as well because you put the input there. So we work as a team. I mean, that's it. We are working as a team, and we appear in different places at different times. So
I like the fact. I certainly like the fact that you can highlight the speaker, which is important. I mean, we don't do it so much as we could here on Smile Time. Obviously, I could just switch layouts real quick, and I could put Stephen off into the back corner. This is similar to the picture-in-picture that you get with Be Live TV. They also have, like he mentioned, the lower thirds, where here I have to generate my own and create an image when it's actually built into Be Live TV, where you simply have the person who signed in to your account as your guest, is the name is available. Or do you have to fill that in yourself, Stephen? Is it something that's already attached to the...
By default, it comes up with the host name, and then you edit the guest name.
Oh, okay. That's what I was curious about.
Yeah, the text can be anything you want.
Yeah, well, then you could add anything. Yeah, and that's like the notes too. That's another thing now I don't see a lot of people use, is that little broadcast note where you can let all the people see something you want to say in text, rather than just bringing the comments out of Facebook, which you can also do on Be Live. In place of what we have here on the lower third, you would have a comment pulled right out of the comment section. Similar in a way to what I could do with, like, we just had Alfredo mention something. I can pull his comment over here onto the side. And Alfredo, just to answer your question, it's always been an encoder to RTMP, but you did have to have, I believe, the studio version in order to do a live broadcast. Well, no, I shouldn't say that, because I'm pretty certain RTMP has been a feature of Manicam since it first came out. That was one of the reasons it was developed, was to be able to stream through RTMP, similar to OBS and FF Split, which is one I've been playing with recently and I really like. So not sure, maybe you just missed it. The recent features to like go instantly to YouTube and Facebook Live on Manicam are actually newer features to that software that didn't exist, a year ago. So all right, so let me get you back on the screen here, Stephen. But the other one, like you said, is the split screen. And then obviously you can have, what you can't do on Smile Time is just each individual speaker without the other person showing up. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, what you could do, obviously, is just drag.
Let you pick your nose.
They have to bring me back and what have you. So, but the other thing which has been there for a little time, which people aren't making great use of, is that underneath the chat, right at the bottom, is you can, as host, you can post comments which appear on the Facebook thread.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you want to put out if I wanted to put out a link, I could put out a link and it would appear in the thread. So that's a nice little touch. But
very cool.
Each platform has its pros and cons, and we both love Smile Time, and for good reason, that it works and it's reliable, and we can do what we want on it. I mean, it was custom made for across the pond, because we can do anything.
I got one story that came through my newsfeed today. Charlene Burke, who's been a host here on the show with you on Across the Pond in the past, had this fly through her newsfeed, and I'll just bring this up real quick. And I know you've got one more story you want to cover today.
Yep.
What this basically entailed was a settlement that just recently took place, and I'm going to shrink myself down again here, over in Denver, Colorado. Now, this is kind of an upsetting issue for those of us who are tried and true, when it comes to American politics, let's say, in regards to how we feel. And it is somewhat immigration based also, Stephen, which was a line of topic that we discovered or discussed earlier. But it was basically that the Justice Department settled an immigration related discrimination claim against the Denver Sheriff's Department.
Mm-hmm.
Denver Sheriff's Department is having to pay $10,000 in fines for hiring someone who is not a U.S. for not hiring someone who is a U.S. citizen in a position of authority to maintain the law of the land in Denver, Colorado. Now, why that's listed under a discrimination law that you can't hire someone in law enforcement, or I should say this, in their application process, what it states here is that under the terms of the settlement agreement, they will pay $10,000 in civil penalties because their position, due to the citizenship requirement and considerant of these applicants' qualifications, without regards to their citizenship, that they have to eliminate that from their requirements, that they had listed must be U.S. citizen in order to apply for this position as a law enforcement agent in Denver, Colorado. I would think that you'd want a U.S. citizen maintaining the laws of the country that they belong to and not having someone of foreign descent in a country trying to enact the laws. And I know that's a touchy subject, okay? But if someone wants, then there are exemptions that can be taken.
Right.
But I guess my question is, do I really want to be limited? Should we limit that to people of U.S. residency only? Or should we allow those of foreign descent to come into our country and uphold the laws of this country? It's really touchy. And I just find it very odd that this was even an issue that had to be settled in a court of law. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm way off. I don't know. It's just, what do you guys think of something like that? I mean, do you guys have foreign entities maintaining the laws in the UK? Or is that a discriminatory issue? Can't really say.
You can't say no, because I don't think we do. No, I'm going to take the fifth on that one.
I'd like you to check into that for me, Stephen, and just to let me know, maybe we can bring it up for just a quick topic in the next show to see if your law enforcement agencies would actually hire foreigners to run their laws and abide by. I just find that to be very hard to understand. It's difficult for me, but I don't know much about it either. I just wanted to bring that up. You have another one?
I've got another one, yeah.
Where were we? Proof of ID. There we go.
Right. Okay. Now, we've talked about the health systems in the US and the UK before. And the UK system is that if you turn up at a hospital or a doctor's, then you'll be, it's free at the point of service. So it's free. That's it. It's paid for in other ways. It's paid for by taxes and national insurance and what have you. But the situation is that because it's free, it means that if you are a tourist and you to get taken ill in the UK, then you can you can use our health service. Now, if you fall ill while you're in the UK, you need to see a doctor. A doctor will see you and he will not charge you. If you came over here to Wiltshire, or anybody who came over to Wiltshire and had a problem, then you go to the doctor's hospital and there'll be no charge, as far as I know. But we do have a problem with health tourism, in that people will come over to the UK and they will take our National Health Service for granted, they'll use it, and then they'll go back home. And this is health tourism. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to stop this. And the way they're going to stop this is that normally when you go to hospital, you just give your address and your postcode or your zip code, and that's it. Okay, will get you seen at the hospital. Your zip code will get you seen at the hospital. Now what they're saying is you have to show your passport as well. Now, this is, I have to say, this is a proposal. Okay, and like many people flying kites, they're just seeing what public reaction would be before they actually do anything. And this is one kite that is going to fall to the ground. It's impractical. First of all, in the UK, this tourism problem I talked about, you'd think there were millions of people coming over here to have operations. It's not the truth.
Mm-hmm.
A very small percentage of patients in the national use the national health system who are not Brits. Okay, and that equates to £250 million a year, according to the article. So what they're doing is using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. They're asking everybody with a passport, well, everybody who wants to go to hospital, to have a passport with them. Okay, so you're taken ill in the street, you don't carry your passport, ambulance takes you to hospital. What happens next?
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, that could be detrimental, couldn't it?
The other loophole as well is the fact that not everybody in the UK has a passport. You only need a passport if you travel abroad, and not everybody has travelled abroad. So it's full of loopholes, but they are flying kites to try and show that they're cracking down in areas which need cracking down on. But in this particular case, showing your passport when you go to the hospital. Well,
wow, that's just hard to believe. I got two of me on here. What do you know? Look, there's two of me.
Wow.
I've grown a mini me.
When you go, you're covered by health insurance, aren't you?
No, I'm not actually.
All right. Okay.
I have exempted myself from Obamacare. I do not feel that an individual citizen of the United States should be forced to participate in any given plan that costs money. And honestly, when we first applied for the program, it cost more than our mortgage. So, no, I was not going to be susceptible to what I call. Well, we could get into a lot of terms. I'm not going to go there. Like, we'd have the FBI after me if I say the wrong thing, but you never know.
Just as a general principle, then, when you go to hospital, what information do you have to give?
I actually used a free clinic, which is here just in the adjoining town at a hospital. They actually, every other Saturday, there is a doctor and staff that offer free services to the public. To those who need it. So when we go to the doctor, all we have to do is fill out a small form, and very rarely do we even have to show our ID. All we have to do is fill out the form and say who we are with our name, address, telephone number. They take the form. You're usually already on record at some location one way or another in the medical history archives within their computer system. So that's really all there is to it. You don't very rarely do you even have to show your ID if you can acknowledge who you are for the most part, but that'd be about it. You just show your driver's license. Okay.
Now, I said that in the UK we don't have a Thanksgiving. So can you describe what Thanksgiving is to you?
Well, to me, honestly, I'll be honest. My family immigrated over here back in the early 1900s. My family comes from Austria-Hungary, and my wife's family participated William Warner, I believe it was actually on the Mayflower when it came into Plymouth Rock. So our heritage is between the two of us, and then her family merged into the Native American family here in the Tennessee area. She has very reputable. There was actually a great grandmother of hers whose land was stolen by the feds for the sake that her land contained gold at the time. So we've learned a lot about our heritage through Ancestry.com. And for me, obviously, I'm only 3 generations out from immigration. My great-great-grandfather came into Ellis Island and registered as a legal immigrant here in the U.S., and that's why I tend to hold very strong to the beliefs that illegal immigration has no place here in the U.S. And for us, it's a time to get back together with family. It's a time to sit down to one of the biggest meals you'll ever have in the year. So you get to eat to your heart's content, all those things that you might not see, those special, table delights that you don't see every day of the week. There's always the traditional turkey and gravy and potatoes and sweet potatoes and bean casseroles and things like that come about. But football's another one that's big in most families. They sit around. Me, I let the tryptophan take over, and I take my little nap while everyone else is watching football. So that's, to me, it's just a good time to be around family again. And, you have the seasons rolling. And along that, I want to mention one other thing, Stephen.
Okay, sure.
There's a big argument that takes place over here in the U.S. every time this part of the holiday season comes up. And I say that in regards to holiday. And I'm going to do something here. I'm going to take us over to a page it's a note that I wrote. If you guys are ever interested in reading it yourselves, you can head over to my Leland Best profile on Facebook. It's Leland J. Best, actually, on that particular page. But I wrote a note back, I'd say, let's see, probably 2 years ago now. And it was called, "Sorry, Christians, there is no war on Christmas." And the reason I say that is because there's been so much recently with Donald Trump taking the president-elect that this is a Christian nation. And I'm sorry to inform everyone that this is not a Christian nation. This is a republic of non-theists, not all theists, and it was been specifically denoted several times over by the founding fathers that this country was not founded on Christianity. Now, the reason I say happy holidays is 2 reasons, or 3 or 4 if you want to go that far. I myself am Jewish, so that's one reason. I don't normally say Merry Christmas unless I'm proposing. I mean, my family, a lot of my family are Christians and observe Christmas. Same with my wife's family. But when it comes down to it, between now and January 15th, there are roughly 29 holidays that are celebrated by several different religions throughout the world. There's Buddhism has their Bodhi Day. Christianity has several holidays that take place. There are fictional and parody holidays that have come about. Like Jonathan Tripp and I celebrated Festivus last year on our show on Blab, if you recall.
Cool,
We had a great time with that. Hinduism has their Panchaganapati, and I probably pronounced that terribly. There are many other historical and even paganistic rituals that take place. There's secular holidays that take place. There are Muslim holidays. There are, so many holidays that people are celebrating. And for anyone to think that there's just Christmas and just Thanksgiving, it's somewhat self-centered. And I hate to put it that way, but it is. And I really hope that people tend to open their eyes to the fact that in order to become a blended nation or a melting pot to the world, we have to allow other people to also enjoy and observe their holiday seasons and simply make room for everybody so that we don't step on each other's toes, don't force a particular ideology on someone else just because you feel that that's your right. We have to deal with it during Christmas time all the time, but we don't get absurd with it. We don't. If somebody says Merry Christmas to us, we says, and Happy Hanukkah to you, because this year Hanukkah actually falls on Christmas. It starts the day of Christmas this year, which is going to be interesting because we're going to go to my family who celebrates Christmas, and we're going to take challah and latkes and kosher wine, and we're going to just celebrate together. So that's the way we're going to do it. And I hope many more can find in their heart ways that they can celebrate the holiday season without taking offense to whether it's Merry Christmas or Happy Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever it might be. So that's all I got.
Sentiments with which I heartily agree. And if we could, well, excuse me. Okay, the conflict in the world, but there are times when you celebrate the fact that the vast majority of the people of this planet live in peace.
Yes.
And that's to be celebrated and never taken for granted, because when we're having good days, we should enjoy and make the most of them for our families and those around us and our friends. And that's the spirit that we should have. And I wish you a wonderful Thanksgiving, and everybody's watching.
Well, thank you. And if you haven't noticed, it's also been a no shave November for me this month. So this is going on week 4, I believe, that I haven't touched a razor to my face. Not often. I've only done this. I actually haven't grown the full beard ever in my life. I've let it come in a little bit. And I thought to myself, what if I were to actually, my 3-year-old granddaughter's like, "Are you growing a Santa beard? Come on." I'm like, well, maybe, or it's just, I'm going to grow a rabbi beard. I don't know. It's one or the other. It could be either one, but it's just been interesting to experience, because if you don't know what No Shave November is, for all those out there watching, it is a means for those who can grow hair to show some support for those who can't, whether they're affected by chemotherapy or even hereditary baldness for that matter. Who knows? It could be a lot of things, but it's normally a time that we grow hair, and any money we would have spent grooming ourselves or shave products, anything of that nature, would be donated to a just cause like the Cancer Society, so that those people can benefit from our ability to grow and theirs not to grow. So it's just an expression of hope and love. Yes, that's all it is.
Yeah. When you've been at least 22 days now,
Yeah.
What does it feel like when you look in the mirror and there's a different person there every day?
It is. It's weird. You know what? It hides that double chin really well, though, Stephen. I got to give it credit for that. That's one thing it does for me. But yeah, it's interesting to see. And I may sculpt it a little bit and just change it up. My wife says maybe just go bald and leave the beard kind of thing, because I have shaved my head in the past. But it's a little cold in the winter months to be bald.
Oh, yeah. So. Tell me about it. And I have no choice.
All right. Well, I think we may as well wrap it up for today. What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds like a plan to me. It's been an enjoyable show as usual, and hope for everybody who's watching has enjoyed it too.
And just so everyone knows, my webcasters workshop is going to start up tomorrow at some point, probably 3 p.m. I think is. Okay. But I'm going to start off really slow. I'm going to take things a little bit at a time and ask for some input for those who have questions about live streaming. What I'm going to do is make myself available one day a week, which is likely going to be Wednesday around 3 p.m. Eastern, where I can come out here, and I may change the time slot up depending on who's available and who wants to be out here and when they need it most. But I may just end up recording them. I'm not sure yet, Stephen, because I find, I'll be honest with you before we wrap this up.
Okay.
I'm seeing a slight degeneration of live video participation lately. Now, I don't know if it's just me or if it's a worldwide thing that, you know, I know that there's all this talk about live stream video is getting all this traction on Facebook, live video on Facebook. Yeah. And let me just put it that way. But is it the shows, or is it just your next really cool cat video, or what is it that's really getting the boost in performance? I think everybody has shows, but what I see so much is people they're interviewing the same people over and over again.
Running circles, yeah. I mean, the key is, and I've discovered this, is that if we're sort of interviewing each other, then it's good fun, but it's not reaching out. And I did a show 2 weeks ago, just on Be Live to my Facebook page. And it took off, and it got very interesting. I said, would anybody like to be on Facebook Live? Mm-hmm. And 5 people said yes. And good. 4 of them had never been on video before.
Oh,
so
wow.
that's led to 4 interviews which are taking place. And I think it's that kind of reaching out that's got to be done. You've got to. I've got to say that from my point of view, I'm seeing the contrary. That I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but so far this month I've done 25 shows, and I've been viewed by just close to 4,000 people. Yeah?
Well, that's awesome. And I think your consistency and your continuity is what really plays a big part of that, Steve.
That's the key. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been very consistent lately, only because I'm still feeling out the niche that I want to be in.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is I have 4 channels here on Smile Time, and my Webcasters Workshop is one that's going to be firing up. And then I also have my Vintage Best, which is my eBay business that I want to show people how to make money on eBay in a way that suits them. And that's another one that'll be starting up. So I want to have a purpose to my broadcast rather than just live streaming. I mean, that topic I think is what I'm getting at, is that people that come out, and I know that's your forte. That's what you do, Stephen. So you have a niche that you work in, or niche, as you say over there in the UK, obviously. That's what you do. You're out there demonstrating live streaming. You've written a book on live streaming that people can find out on Amazon at live. Just Google live stream broadcasting. You'll find
live video. But thank you for
live video. Yes,
it is a question of reaching out to people and consistency. Yeah, and the other thing is, what I've tried to do is the knowledge that I've got. I've done the book with Fraser, the marketing video. The other thing I've done is I've started doing Skillshare courses. Yeah,
I saw that.
In addition to running seminars and events, the knowledge that you're putting into that can also go into a Skillshare course. Yeah, I mean, Skillshare, to explain what a Skillshare course is. Okay, Skillshare course is a video course which lasts up to 25 minutes. The whole idea is that people can watch it while they're on the move. So you do videos up to 5 minutes in length maximum, and you go through one topic. Now, you don't go through the whole point of the course is to get across 1 or 2 major points. Yeah. So as far as the knowledge is concerned, you're passing on knowledge, but you're not giving everything. You're only giving part of it. So it is a good way to actually, first of all, get yourself organized, and then to make money, because you can then, every time somebody takes your course, you get $1.50.
Oh, okay.
So,
gotcha.
Right. That's the way it works.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So there's no loss, because once you've done it, I mean, I started doing mine just as YouTube videos, and then Angelica was doing well on Skillshare, teaching people German. So I thought, have a go.
Okay. And I thought about doing like Thinkify or Thinkific is one.
That's right.
And there's Yes Course also that's out there. I have started programs out there that I wanted to really get involved with my webcasters workshop and create, like you said, you don't want to do an assertion. You just want to do short videos that people can let sink in. And if there are any questions after the fact, then you're the go-to person that they come to. And that's where your consulting fees can come into play if you want to do anything along charging people by the hour or by the project or whatever it is you might want to get involved in. Yeah. And I've had people come to me for that. But again, sometimes I think I wear too many hats, and I really need to slow down when it comes to all that. So that's why I've reorganized a little bit, and I'm not streaming as regularly as I used to, because most of it was for fun for me for a long time. And now it's become 2 niches that I want to get involved in where I can actually produce an income with live streaming. But I want it to come across properly and not just, let's just say it, half-assed and come out here and not do what we really need.
The reason I got together with Fraser was pure and simple. Fraser has been doing marketing for the last 30 years, and he advises everybody from one-man bands through to corporates.
Oh, okay.
And he's basically the way he sets it out is to get streams of income, and that you can just forget about. And that's basically part of the solution, isn't it? That if you're on YouTube, you monetize your channel, and you monetize your knowledge through courses or by doing live video that you're doing. It does. It's painful, but it works.
There's a lot of work. And always remember you have to have your home base, and that's not YouTube, that's not Facebook Live, that's not Smile Time, that's your website, that's your locate. Or maybe you hold true to a Facebook page that is used as your website, and that's fine. But it really comes down to structuring yourself somewhere specific where you can share most of everything that you do, if it's in one niche or if it's in several niches. Like for I do so many things. I'm a CAD operator, I'm an eBayer, I'm a live streamer, I sell live stream equipment and software. So I have all these little things going on. And I saw Chris Ripka do a video the other day, which was it was a good rant, because it was something along the lines of don't merge, or what is it? I got to remember how he said it. Don't cover more lanes than, I forget. God, I don't know why I can't think of it now. He said it in such a way that, don't broadcast yourself into too many places you don't belong. All right. Yeah. I've got experience in all these things for several years. These are not things that I just decided, I'm just going to go play around with this. I have expertise in all of them. Yep. That's why I do them. And in your case, you have expertise in what you do, and that's training and video and live streaming. So that's what you do. And you also have a software, background. I
mean, that's I am a programmer, a SQL Server programmer. And I've written software, which is still there, which still, sells and is good. I have, for instance, just a 2-minute advert. I have a piece of software called Astrantia, which is a dual language browser. And if you're reading a French newspaper and you'd like to see English translation, just put the URL into Astrantia. And the French and English side by side, synchronized.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that's the plug. But I mean,
I need to learn a second language first. Even with me, I'm Jewish, and it's like I can barely speak Hebrew. That just says I know a little bit of Hebrew, and I'm still working on that. So
funny you should say that, because Daniel Meyer has offered to teach me Hebrew.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, yeah. No,
Well, you tell Daniel I want in on that, because
Yeah,
that's
okay.
definitely, those guys are over in Jerusalem. So
We can
I have a
start
lot
with
of good
the
friends in Israel. So that's one of those things that obviously I've talked with Daniel. And how does the other CEO pronounce his name?
I don't know. I've seen him.
Zavrik, I believe it is. It's
Yeah, I've seen him and
Zavrik.
waved at him, but I've not spoken to him.
Yeah, I have to get a pronunciation for his name, because I know mostly how to pronounce Hebrew names, but that was one that kind of caught me off guard. I haven't seen that spelling before, so we'll look into that.
Just
All right, Stephen.
Just before we go, we've got to say that Blue Jeans have got a new offering.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that.
If you want to go and check, have you checked it out? I haven't had a chance, but have you?
I just received another email from them. I do know off the top of my head how that's functioning, and I can head over to that page real quickly. Blue Jeans has announced as of the 21st that they are now offering their on social, is what they call it. And I'm just going to head over to bluejeans.com and see if I can't find the link real quick. I know I have one in email, but I don't have my email software up. So I'm going to head over to pricing and see if I can't bring this up real quick on the screen for us. Yes. Okay. And there's 3 tabs here we have to watch for. So I'm going to go full screen here, Stephen, so that people can actually see it. I don't want people to miss out on the page if I'm cut off on the window. So let me just switch screens here real quick before we wrap this up. And what this is going to allow people to see is the Blue Jeans Network page. And I'm going to disappear down in the corner again. Basically, they have 3 tabs here. They have the on video, the prime time, and the on social. Now, obviously, they have several different platforms. The on video personal is just a meeting room. It's similar to like an appear-in, you might say. And we mentioned appear-in going pro just last week, which starts up for like $12 a month. They're at $9.95 as a limited time offer, which is normally, it looks like $19.95. So pricing's comparable. I'm pretty sure you can get more people, like you can get 50 attendees in this one. But I'm not sure how many are actually on camera. I think it is 50. Then you have your prime time, which is their back-end recording for the bigger stuff, which they have 5,000 maximum attendees. But on social is the one everybody's been waiting to see.
Yes.
And basically what we have is a limited time offer, which would be good for the first year. We did have this confirmed by Pashmin today with regards to the pricing. It was set at $39.95 a month, which includes, this is their personal package. 25 remote presenters can be on camera all at the same time. It includes instant or scheduled broadcast, HD video and screen sharing, computer, mobile device, or any professional AV equipment can be used, and on-video personal meeting license. Now, one thing they don't show here is the fact that they were only going to limit this to 5 hours. And if you go here to the full package comparison on the download, you don't see here is the only place they mention unlimited cloud storage and event recording. Okay. Now that's for the one you got to call on. That's their on social studio package for more of the enterprise level, you might say. So let's head over to the download, which is a PDF file that's available online. And what you'll find here is the actual comparison of the personal to the studio package. And what can you see? Yeah, you can see that. All right, let me move myself out of the way just for a second. I'm going to move over here into the corner a little further. All right, so what you can see here is that in the personal for $39.95, which will go up to $60 a month after the first year, keep that in mind. Unlimited Facebook Live broadcasting, which can be solo or with up to 25 attendees, and then instant scheduled broadcasting capabilities, HD video and screen sharing, computer, mobile device, or professional clips. And here they took it out. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe after, oh, here it is. Okay, here we go. So go down the list, 25 people versus 100 people, unlimited broadcasting, 5 hours of event recordings. Now, Pashmin also confirmed today with me personally on Joel Com's group over at live streaming. What do they call that group over there? I can't remember. Anyway, Joel Com's group. That this 5 hours can be overwritten or previous content can be deleted and replaced. So it's not a 5 hour limit per month. It's actually it's 5 hours of recordable time. Once you download the video, you could replace it with a different one, delete it, and have that space back. And the only problem that I saw was that it's only a private share. So you would have to download and upload back to YouTube in order to share it publicly.
Yeah.
But with the enterprise package, you have the ability to publicly share from their cloud service. Okay.
Yeah.
Which, if you've ever seen that, their cloud service is really cool. The way that the video comes together, especially with the screen sharing capabilities.
Yeah.
There's some really cool stuff going on the back end of Blue Jeans. But you can schedule your broadcast. You have the interactive layouts like we had before with, the 9-person Brady Bunch style versus the presenter speaking on camera ahead of the person who's not. And I believe the other was automatically when the voices control it. And then we have the live event invitations, 1080p and content sharing, and public event chat. This does not have private chat on the back end for the personal.
Yep.
And they also don't have backstage attendee passes. But as far as everything else goes, they're pretty comparable. The only other thing is they don't have what I thought was weird is that the Enterprise only has the iOS app.
All right.
It doesn't have the Android app.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, but only one guest port. I'm not sure what this really means for the video system. That's something that will have to be confirmed.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's no live event assistant services for your show if it's on the personal account, and you don't get any kind of training or best practice checklist that you would get if you were to go ahead on that regard. And you also obtain phone support with the enterprise level versus just email support. And your queue is also in the priority stack if you do a full-blown show through the back end of the enterprise package. And your support hours are a little more limited than 24/7 within an hour with the enterprise package. So but you can download that file. I'll leave a quick link here in the chat for those who want to find it. In case you want to go download that PDF and find it for yourself. Okay. It should fit in the chat here.
And just a point for our UK viewers, if you do click on that link, it won't work at the moment.
Oh, it won't? No, that's true, yeah. For any of it. Oh, it works in the US?
It works in the US.
Really?
Indeed.
I can't.
Krishna tried to download it yesterday, and she couldn't. And
you mean at the website? Oh, yeah. I thought you meant here on Smile Time.
Sorry, no, my apologies.
No, that's fine.
I'll test out whether that link actually works or not.
Had me go. Oh, I got two of me again. Mini Me's back.
Right.
Go away, Mini Me. Okay.
Well, there you are. I mean, we don't have enough time to fit everything
in. Barely have enough time to wrap it up. All right, let's make it quick then, Stephen. This is Leland Best over in Michigan, across the pond on the U.S. side, and
Stephen in Wiltshire in England, and we wish you a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we look forward to seeing you next week on Across the Pond.
Tuesday,
12 p.m. Eastern. My apologies. Okay, take care, Leland. See you again soon.
All right, we'll see you, Stephen. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.